Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be taking you through all of the details of the upcoming Pat McGrath Celestial Nirvana collection for holiday 2022. If you are interested in my thoughts on this collection, what I plan to pick up, what I recommend, what I'm going to be skipping altogether and why, then keep watching. So the Celestial Nirvana collection from Pat McGrath pretty much broke the makeup internet. When we first saw these images on Pat McGrath's Instagram, we all were shook to our cores. Now this is what you call a collection. And I will just say, shout out to Pat McGrath's team, because I very, very rarely, if ever, see leaked photos of her collections before Pat herself announces them. Like, I don't even know they're coming, never even heard this was dropping soon until Pat herself is like, here it is. And that's how it should be. I want to see the proper official professional grade photos and images and videos from the brand. I don't want to see them leaked from like Jenny on Reddit. I want to see them this way, properly, first. So, you know, we say a lot of things about Pat McGrath and their like procedures and their customer service, but they do get that right. Like they never, nothing is ever leaked, or very rarely. But when the first images of this collection first went out, my first thought was, I am overwhelmed. This is a lot. It's a lot. I can't remember the last time I saw such a huge, massive collection with so many pieces where so much of it was just like mind-blowingly beautiful and exciting. It was a lot. It was overwhelming. Hopefully today I'm going to help you. We're going to go through each piece. We're going to talk about what you might already have in your collection, what is really necessary out of this. We're going to calm down, take a moment. We're not going to panic buy. We don't do that here. We know better. We have 2 days to prepare and get our shopping list ready. It's launching on the 23rd of September. Typically, Pat launches at 9 a.m. I think it's Pacific time, or is it Eastern time? Tell me in the comment section down below, but she typically does VIP early access at 9 a.m. PT or ET, which is either 2 p.m. or 5 p.m. here. As soon as we know, I will pin a comment, but she hasn't yet specified the time. She just keeps saying sign up for early access, which you can do now via the link in my description box, and then you'll get your early access email so that you can access this collection early, and you always get a 10% discount across the collection with that early access code. So it's definitely worth signing up for that early access and making sure you are ready. Save that link in your browser bar ready to go, because for me this is the most exciting collection of the year so far, one of the most popular. It's certainly like the most exciting that Pat McGrath has had in like a very long time. I feel like this is her most exciting, biggest, and going to be her most popular holiday launch of all time. So be ready with your lists, with what you want, and stick to it. Don't panic buy everything because you're not organized, okay? I'm sorry, my mother came out. So as I'm filming this video, the prices are not up on Pat's website yet. Tomorrow I expect she will probably do the preview she usually does, where you could see prices and more images of all of the pieces. So price-wise, there's only a couple of products that we can kind of assume as they usually are for her items. Everything else is like a TBC as far as the price point. So let's break it down. Let's start off with this Mothership Mega, the third of this variety and size of palette. A really great opportunity to try a lot of formulas and colours, shades from the brand without the insane price tag of those Mothership palettes. So this in the previous years was £60 or $78. So I do expect this to be about the same price. What I was initially really pleased to see with this Mothership Mega is that it doesn't have that big logo in the middle of the palette taking up half the space of last year's palette. We've got now a full, nice, filled palette there with all of those 18 shades. I was also really pleased to see such a colourful palette, not for myself because I am a basic beauty when it comes to makeup, and I love my neutrals and I love my natural shades. So for me, this is probably a pass. I have picked up both of these previous Mothership Megas from her previous holiday collections, and I love them and they're super fun, and I think they're amazing for someone who doesn't own any Pat McGrath or just wants the most bang for their buck when it comes to the brand, getting a lot of shadows for less money than a Mothership. But for me, I just know I won't use this. These are not my colours. It's much too colourful and exciting for me and my typical way that I do makeup and the colours I'm drawn to. So I just know that I'm not going to get much use out of this. So I think I'm going to skip on this, but I'm very happy for those many people who have been crying out for colour and blues and purples and greens from Pat McGrath for years to finally have such like a rainbow colour story. I feel like lots of people are very happy and excited for this palette. I'm just not one of them, although I am happy and excited for you if you are a colour lover, but you know that I'm not. And I think, you know, if I was to get this, it would just be for review purposes. And as far as reviewing this collection, that in itself is extremely overwhelming because I only have the 2 eyes and the 2 cheeks. I don't even know how I'm going to film a review of even half of this collection. So I think for me, that's probably going to be a pass. And yeah, I just know that I won't use it for very long. I'm going to use it for the review, maybe a couple more times after that, and then it will just go with the other 2 that I already don't use that much. If you love Pat McGrath, if you love colour, if you don't own any Pat McGrath, but you're a big colourful eyeshadow fan, this is like all of your dreams come true. So I think this palette is either for you or it's not. I don't think it's going to disappoint you. If that's the kind of colour story you're drawn to, it's just such fun palette. I've always really got a lot of fun initially out of those Mothership Megas. They're fun to play with. They have a lot of options and different formulas to play with. This one has like the most colours ever. So I think you'll have a lot of fun and you'll love it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's just not a colour story that I know that I will use personally. It's also worth mentioning that it looks like it appears that every shade in that palette is brand new for this palette. So that is exciting. I do like this packaging as well. It's solid. It feels strong and sturdy. It's a nice size, although it is large. It's nice and thin, so it's easy to store, and it has a really nice large mirror. So I do like those palettes and their size, even though I'm not a big fan of huge big palettes. That one is sturdy and easy to store because it's nice and thin. Next up, let's talk about these 2 5-pan eyeshadow palettes. Now these are much more my cup of tea. I will definitely be picking up both of these. So here we have 2 brand new and new formula eyeshadow palettes. We have a warm palette, which is Nude Allure, and we have a cool palette, which is Bronze Bliss. Both of these are just beautiful to me. They look absolutely gorgeous. They both appeal to me. They both look stunning, really usable and wearable for like my taste of makeup. I like that they both have a matte that you can just kind of make everything work together, but you can also combine these 2 palettes really nicely and, you know, mix up a bit of cool with a bit of warm and utilize the sort of transition or the matte shade in each with the other shimmers from the other palette. I really like both of these. I don't have any 5-pans from the brand. I think these will be, again, a really good price point. We don't know what that is yet, but I imagine this will be a really great option if, again, normally Pat McGrath shadows are too high a price point. This will give you a bit of a taster of the brand at a much lower price point. These, for me, I think are a really great choice. If the Mothership Mega is going to just be overwhelming or it's too much colour for you like it is for me, these are a fantastic option. It's just something for everybody in this collection. So now moving on to the cheek products in the collection, of which there are also many to choose from. Again, as yet, as I'm filming this, no confirmed price point on these, and I can't really give you a guess because this is like the first kind of product of this type that Pat has offered in her collection. Probably the closest product that we can guess at the price with would be the Bridgerton cheek palette, which had 3 blushes and a highlight and was originally $60. I think that one's on sale now currently, but that was $60 originally and had 1 less blush, but it was, you know, different formula, that crazy over the top packaging. So I would maybe expect these to be around that same price point, but we will see. Maybe slightly less because of the packaging, maybe slightly less because of the formula, but we will see. So there are 2 of these cheek palettes available, one with the pink packaging and one with that gold packaging. So each of these blush palettes feature an existing shade, a re-promoted shade, and then some new shades as well. So it's a bit of a mix, which is slightly disappointing for me because I own like all of the Pat McGrath blushes. So I definitely want to pick up both of these cheek palettes, but it would have been great if they had all been new shades, because for many of us, we already own the blush shades that we are drawn to or wanted to own and picked from the brand when she had released her initial blush launch, and now we're going to all end up with a repeat. If you don't own any blushes from Pat McGrath or highlights, this is a wonderful choice, also a wonderful gift. If you're looking to gift this something from this collection, this would be an amazing gift for a Pat McGrath lover, especially if they don't own any blushes yet. So we don't seem to have all of the shade names confirmed for these blush highlight palettes, but one contains Nude Venus as the existing shade and the other contains Desert Orchid as the existing shade, and then all nude shades as far as we can tell. I'm not 100% sure about the highlights in these, whether these are brand new highlights for the palettes or whether these are re-promoted existing highlights. Both of these are coming home with me. I'm obsessed with Pat McGrath's blush formula. I love them. I think all of the blush shades in both of these palettes look very beautiful, very wearable, and I know that I love these formulas from Pat. I also love Pat McGrath's highlight formulas. Every highlight I've tried from the brand has been like a favorite of mine. So both of these are coming home with me. I think these are great gifts. I think if you don't own a lot of blush shades from Pat McGrath, they'd be a great pick from this whole collection. They're one of the most exciting items from the collection, I think, and I just don't think you can be disappointed with this blush formula. So I think they're a pretty safe bet, and I think they'll be a pretty good price point, certainly a better price point than buying like 4 of her blushes and a highlight at least. And that's a really lovely little set. You could also use the highlight, you know, on the eyes. You could also use some of these blushes on the eyes as well. So I think it gives you a bit of versatility, a bit of bang for your buck, and I think they're just a really exciting little launch from the brand. We love the blushes. I head over heels fell in love with the Bridgerton blush palette despite not liking that packaging. So I'm excited to have like a whole blush and highlight palette from the brand with some like more sensible, easier to travel and store packaging. Next up, Pat is also releasing a single blush in a brand new shade with that beautiful embossing in the shade Nude Venus 2, which is described as a peachy nude with a satin pearl finish. This sounds stunning. Absolutely stunning. I own the Nude Venus 1 blush. It is one of my favorites. Very beautiful, very wearable. This looks like just a slightly richer version of that potentially. So I'm very excited. That one's definitely going into my basket and coming home with me. I think that's a gorgeous, beautiful, everyday wearable blush, as well as this new highlighter, which again has that stunning embossing and that beautiful pattern on there. Again, this is a new highlighter for this collection in Venusian Nude, which is described as a peachy nude with silver sparkle. This just looks gorgeous. I've never been disappointed with a Pat McGrath highlighter, and I think this is absolutely gorgeous. I love the highlights from the brand, so both of these are coming home with me. If the blush palettes are too high of a price point for you and you just want to pick a couple of smaller ticket items, this is really nice that it gives you that option for just a single blush. You know, the blush palettes are not for everyone, they're overwhelming. It's a lot of blush for one face, okay? So if you just want, you know, you're happy with a highlight and a blush, there's something for you as well. So I really like that about this collection. You know, you've kind of got a huge, big, colourful eyeshadow palette, or you've got some much more like daytime wearable, easier going, less frightening or intimidating for those of us who are scared of colour when it comes to eyeshadow. You've got something much smaller and a smaller price point, and the same goes for like the cheek products as well. I feel like they really cater to absolutely everybody's preferences and tastes and how much money people do or don't want to spend. Next up, let's look at these lipsticks, again with that gorgeous pattern on there. We have one brand new nude shade, which is Nude Venus, presumably to go along with that nude blush and the existing Nude Venus blush shade. That is described as a nude coral. And then we have Forbidden Love, which is a classic shade, a previously launched shade from Pat McGrath, which is described as a classic red. I love Pat's Matte Trance formula. I have a lot of them. It's a very nice, more of a sort of satin matte, creamy, beautiful, comfortable, amazing pigmentation. I really, really love that formula. I'm definitely going to pick up the Nude Venus, the nude shade. That's right up my street. That sort of peachy nude looks delightful. The red, I'm going to pass. I don't need it. I have like a good few reds from Pat McGrath. I don't feel like I need another one. And I'm not especially excited to own, the lipstick, both of the lipsticks with the packaging or the embossing. That shade is I just feel like it's one that's going to get lost in my collection and I don't need it. Next up, we have 3 new colours of Pat McGrath's Dark Star mascara. So this is one of my absolute favourite mascaras. This is a very volume, dramatic, huge big fat lash mascara. It gives that sort of thick clumpy look that I really, really like. Really nice mascara. And she's adding 3 new colours of that same much loved mascara formula to this collection. Brand new packaging, and we've got an aquamarine dream colour, the ultraviolet blue and the pink mystique. Now I can tell you straight away, this for me is the easiest part of this whole collection. I do not wear coloured mascara. As I already spoke about, I am like a colour phobe. I'm afraid of colour. I am like a neutrals, very basic eyeshadow kind of colours girl. I try to push myself out of my comfort zone, but this is like the comfort zone is here, and these colourful mascaras are like way beyond the coastline. Okay, I can't even see them. That's how far beyond comfort zone they are. I will not use these. Okay, I understand that someone out there is leaping for joy at the sight of these, but it isn't me. It's not happening over here. I'm just saying that. They do look super fun, but they are just absolutely not for me. And when it's such an amazing collection with so many pieces that are really tickling my pickle, I'm not even looking at these. They're not even on my radar. I would assume that these would be the same price point as the black Dark Star mascara, which is £25, I believe. So yeah, that's around the price point that I would expect for these mascaras. There is also a Velvet Kohl eyeliner in the shade Extreme Black. This is a re-promote, has existed before re-promoted Black Kohl eyeliner. I mean, this is again is an easy pass. I don't need a black eyeliner, so that's an easy skip for me. And then there are 2 little mini kits, both lip kits. One is the Mini Nude Venus Lip Trio, which features a lipstick, gloss and lip pencil to complement each other in that Nude Venus shade. And the lipstick formula in that kit is one of the Divinal Lip Shine. So this is like a hybrid balm lipstick formula with like a plumping, smoothing effect and a nourishing lacquer-like shine. So that is the formula that is going in that kit, as well as the duo. So another kit is a pair of these same Divinal lipsticks. One is in the shade Nude Venus, again the same shade that will be in the other trio kit, and the other shade is Temptress. I'm not typically one for these little mini kits, but that duo of Divinals is like calling my name. I never tried this formula before. It is a popular one. It is the kind of lip formula that I love and I'm really drawn to because I love balmy lipsticks, and I like both of those colours. So again, I think that's going to be coming home with me. I will also say, although we can't see them just yet before the preview is up on her website, I do expect there to be other like packages or bundles available on launch day. There will most likely be bundles that include the Mothership Mega with the 2 smaller 5-pan eyeshadow palettes. I'd also expect to see bundles that include eyeshadows with the cheek palettes and cheek bundles that include all of the cheek products, and probably also a like everything package, which includes everything from the collection for $1 million, presumably. Those bundles are very rarely put on the website until the launch actually happens, which is very annoying because they're always a very good value for money and much cheaper than buying everything separately. But annoyingly, because we can't plan and see what those bundles look like until it's launch time and everyone's panicking and like don't know what to do. Like you don't even have time to look at the bundles because you've got to check out before someone takes your products out of your basket. So everybody always asks me, do I think this is going to sell out? How quickly do I think this is going to sell out? And it's completely unpredictable. I have no idea. Pat McGrath's last numerous numbers of launches have not sold out quickly at all. The Bridgerton collections especially have hung around and gone on sale months and months and months later. So we haven't really seen anything from Pat McGrath really selling out very quickly lately. However, this collection I feel like is the most exciting and the best the brand has come out with for a very long time. So I also would not guarantee that it won't sell out quite quickly. So it's a risky game, you know. I would very much like to buy bundles and calmly see what the bundles are and take my time, but I also am quite aware that things could sell out, especially what I expect to be the most popular products, because they are a lower price point, would be the 5 pans and also the blush palettes, because again they are an item that are really high in demand from the brand. So yeah, I am nervous. I don't know how quickly this collection is going to sell out, but my advice would be is that if you know for sure you want certain products, I wouldn't hang around. I would get them snappily as soon as you can, because I do think it's possible that these may sell out. I'm not going to wait for this collection to come to Selfridges. I will get these on launch day from the Pat website, because again, it's very inconsistent when things come to Selfridges. Her previous palette, Mothership 10, has never arrived at Selfridges yet to this day. So I'm not going to make that mistake again and wait for this collection to come to Selfridges, because I just don't know if it will. Most collections come pretty promptly to Sephora. So if you're US based, maybe that's a safer bet to wait for Sephora. Here, it's not a safe bet to wait for Selfridges, because it may or may not ever arrive there. So as a recap, I plan to skip on the Mothership Mega, pick up both of the 5-pan eyeshadows and both of the blush palettes, as well as the single blush and highlight. I then plan to pick up the nude shade of the 2 lipsticks, as well as that mini duo lipstick set. That's kind of what I plan to be my order when it launches. If there are bundles that make sense and that are better for more financially, and I can kind of plan for that, and I manage to get hold of them, then I will absolutely take advantage of that and hopefully save a few pounds. So that is all the information I have to share with you and my thoughts on this collection, which is absolutely stunning but extremely overwhelming. As I said, this launches in 2 days on the 23rd. Most likely, I think it will be 9 a.m. Pacific time. So set your alarms, get ready, decide what you want ahead of time. Try not to panic. Remember, it's just makeup. Don't go into debt for makeup. These will most likely hang around, I imagine. So, and if they don't, you know, something is always around the corner. So let's not go broke for makeup, especially right before Christmas. You know, we need our money for presents. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye.